So, Helena, thank you for coming on. So I suppose we'll just get kicking off by asking you how you're getting on. How are things?
I'm doing well. I'm doing fine.
Excellent.
Are definitely going well. Yep.
Good, good. So I suppose the first kind of question I wanted to ask you, just more, I just wanted to kind of share your journey more than anything else because I thought it was inspiring when we had a chat the last day. What was the main reason, why did you ring Doc Fitness and what kind of problems were you coming up against kind of before you joined Doc Fitness?
Yeah, I'd say, I was possibly quite atypical. It's, 2nd of January and just feeling, God, I'm going to have to do something. And I thought, you know what, I need to find something that will just help with a couple of different goals that I knew that I wanted to work on. Last year I had a few health issues, sort of centered around really high blood pressure, and working with consultants, the first question is, what's your exercise routine like? What's your diet like? And I would say, well, actually my diet I feel is quite good. And I would say automatically, yeah, well, I run. So yeah, I feel like my exercise is okay. But when I actually really started to critique myself, I could see that my exercise wasn't that. It was that if the weather was nice, I'd go out for a run. But it wouldn't be something I would hold myself accountable to do all of the time. So that I thought, okay, I need to do something. So it was just coming that time after Christmas when you sort of feel, okay, let's make a New Year's resolution and go for it. But it was sort of a kickstart of health as well.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, it's funny, like everybody thinks that they considered healthy when you're not really, I suppose, educated is to go out for the odd run and just to be quote unquote like a healthy weight. But
yeah.
Often than not, that's actually not healthy, and you experienced that kind of firsthand with what the GP would have been saying with your high blood pressure and stuff.
Yeah.
What would you kind of have tried in the past to kind of achieve your goals?
Yeah, I would have tried on my own. So I would be a fan of clean eating. So look, we have a polytunnel. I grow vegetables, so everything is, most of our food intake for the family is from scratch. Love cooking. So, already had that in place. I would have tried to join a gym previously and do classes. They just were not for me. There wasn't the one-on-one. It was join a class, look at the list of what was coming up, what did you want to join, show up, but no consultation. You're not shown how to use a kettlebell. You just start swinging it. And that's fine for people that maybe are experienced. It was one of the words is the education piece. I didn't have that starting from basics. So I tried to do that before, didn't really work for me. I didn't feel like I was getting enough out of it. It wasn't tailored for what I was looking for. And then just pretty much on my own, which would have been, certainly I started running possibly closer to my 40s. Than previously before that.
And was that the first time you had been starting kind of doing a little bit of running, was when you kind of hit 40, you're like, oh God, I need to start doing something?
Yeah.
And you didn't really have that kind of direction.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose that's a really important thing, and it's the same with a lot of kind of gyms and classes that a lot of people would join outside of Doc Fitness. Is you can join and you can start doing a class, but you don't actually have that accountability, which is the big thing that we have here, and you have that direction and guidance from the coaches, which is a massive thing. So what kind of results have you gotten to date?
So as of this morning, I started on the 6th of January and I am now down 18 pounds this morning.
Wow, that's unbelievable. It's amazing. Yeah. And did you ever think you'd get to that?
No, not for this length of time. I thought that I might achieve it, but then when I'd, maybe I'd start, going back into kind of other habits, or that I'll, take a treat and then, I'll kind of go, you know what, yeah, I just want to stay in this kind of eating mode. It hasn't happened. I know it's only 4 months, just over 4 months, but it hasn't happened. It's a full education and habit have really, really kicked in for me. And knowledge, knowing what I'm having as a treat, let's say, I'm able to make an adult decision. knowing that it's not going to change anything that I've done in the last couple of, in the week before. I was starving myself and then saying, okay, well, if I have this now, I'm going to take a step back. There's nothing like that. It took a lot of education to understand, protein and how I can feel fuller with good food, which stops me then reaching for something, late at night. That would be my trigger is cup of tea at night. I want to have the biscuit. So it's making healthier food. It's a great feeling that I know that I can achieve that goal and these results, and I still have, full life.
Flexibility.
Yeah.
That's massive. And that's kind of one of the biggest things that kind of helps with your adherence and your kind of sustainability and your consistency over a long period of time. And that's what we really, really, really look to try and teach in Doc Fitness is the education behind eating well and knowing that it's okay to have a snack if you want to have a snack.
Yeah.
Just as long as it fits kind of within, I suppose, in your week and within that balance, which is the most important thing, And I suppose once you reach that kind of stage where you're kind of confident in your food choices and your education behind your protein, your carbohydrates and fat, and more importantly, calories, that's absolutely massive. It's a game changer,
I'd say one of the things that in terms of the education was on, in the first week and the first 2 weeks where you have to track your food and you're given the guidelines around, sizes, a handful of carb, this size of, of your vegetables and a palm size of your meat. They're the foundations that I knew at some level, but I wasn't consistent on them. So even portion control, I bought myself, I think in the first week, like a nice plate, bought a nice plate. And I thought, you know what, well, if I have to have smaller portions, I want to eat off a nice plate. It was, and because the first couple of weeks I could see my portions were larger than what was kind of, the guideline. And so for that now, I still write up, still have the notebook, I write up
Brilliant.
every single night before I go to sleep. Okay, so what do I have, and it's in the same kind of format. I couldn't get used to the sheets that you had provided. So I put in a notebook on the first day and I never stopped using the notebook. I can remember coming into you and going, I don't know how to introduce carbs, help. I don't know. I was afraid that if I introduced carbs, I wouldn't be able to find that. And now I'm realizing that carbs aren't an enemy. It's how you use them. So I do find writing up everything, and I still write, what was my water, vitamin, sleep, nutrition, activity, daily workout, and now I have the daily challenge, obviously. It just keeps my life alive. But, have I achieved all those? So it's a bit of accountability, and I do write a goal for the next day, whether I've had a treat and I feel like, I've had a few glasses of wine, I want to reset. So the next morning it'll be, do a little bit of a reset, have a think about, your choices. So it's that education. It still comes back to the foundations in the first couple of weeks.
Brilliant. And other than, I suppose, your unbelievable kind of weight loss to date, is there any other big results that you can think of off the top of your head? I mean, in terms of your life or your work or anything like that has had a positive impact from Doc Fitness?
Yeah, I would say that another reason why I wanted to do something and why I picked Doc Fitness was when I was researching it and looking around. I have quite a large commute when we are in on-site working, so I have about a 2.5 hour drive each day. That puts a lot of wear and tear, the stresses of a job.
Yeah.
So I'm bit of a workaholic, find it hard to, when somebody's in the office and then you have to leave and hit into traffic and probably still on the phone. So by actually having the schedule that I need to be in Doc Fitness for 4:30 or 5:30, only twice it's happened where I've had to email you in a panic to go, what can I do? Because I'm stuck in a meeting. But it gave me a sense of I have to leave the office now. I have to be in gym gear. Having that sense of once I was in the gym, I wasn't thinking about, well, what else do I need to do? What's for dinner? I had myself and my husband are well scheduled, like who's collecting the kids that day, who's doing dinner. That has massively changed. And even now that we're in, the situation where we are now, I'm doing my workouts early in the morning and it's working perfectly for our schedule. But I find that hour in the morning is for me. If I was up that early, I'd be straight on to work. So it's for me, then I have to have a shower, then I have to have a bit of breakfast because I'm starving then at that point. So it's really started to put in a routine where it's about me and not necessarily running to do different things. And on a Saturday morning at the moment, I choose not to do the workshop. So I do 3 workouts during the week. On the Saturday morning, I don't do the workout, but I do the stretch class. And now what I've built in is I have an hour for myself, and I'm doing meditation then, because I'm already upstairs. I'm doing that. Everybody knows not to go near mommy. And whether that's listen to a podcast or do a bit of self-meditation, self-guided meditation myself, or look through an old photo book that I want to find for myself. So I suppose to answer your question a long way, it's that I've carved out a bit of time for me. My family's at the stage where I can, and I probably didn't have that before. So I think that's been a big focus and what I've got from Doc Fitness. The other piece as well is when I was looking online at where to go and who to come to, what I loved on the internet was about the community of Doc Fitness. And I didn't get that sense from other gyms because you just went to classes, you didn't meet anybody. Not that we get much time to have a chat or anything like that with anybody, but there's an awful lot of encouragement from people. I know lifting a weight, like if I manage to lift bench press like 5, I'm delighted with myself, and most times I'll just go to the empty bar again. But you've got certainly people who are like-minded that are happy for you that you're lifting something. And whilst I wasn't there that long, in the gym itself, it's nice that you're coming in going, yeah, do you want to partner up because I've met you before. And it is that community piece. But yourselves as consultants as well, like it's when you walk in and somebody will say to you, I can see changes on you. You're able to lift that now. Or, come on, Helena, you're well able to lift more than that. You kind of feel like, well, somebody's taken note of what I'm doing. And it is a sense of, a belonging, which is really important in a gym, because I had never walked into a gym like that before.
Brilliant.
See, couldn't hear, couldn't make any sense of it.
Yeah.
Very different environment that I've ever been in.
Brilliant. It does, so we just come back to kind of one of the big things for you was just making a little bit more time for yourself, and maybe Doc Fitness made you kind of realize that you needed to kind of allow yourself that little bit extra time that you might not have been able to before, which for a lot of parents that work and that have kids, family is always the number one priority. But sometimes it does come a time where you kind of need to flip that on its head and kind of focus on yourself a little bit more, because it is a knock-on effect. And if you're happy, there's no doubt that your partner or your kids are going to be happy off the back of that as well. So
and there's a knock-on effect to it, because then I've had my time as well, and then like even I have 2 girls and my husband, it's kind of like, well, actually I'm going to go out for a walk now, I'm going to do my bits, and there is a knock-on effect. The kids are involved now and making different recipes and making different food, and so it's changing up routines that were there for a very, very long time and different habits, and the family are seeing it as well.
That's brilliant. Like, that's absolutely massive. So it's not only impacted you in a positive way, but also your family too, which is huge. It's great. And that's like, you're probably learning and teaching them things that they'll have for life, which is great. Like, what would you kind of say is kind of just to round it off here, the best thing about Doc Fitness? So for you, in your eyes, what is the best thing about Doc Fitness, and kind of what makes Doc Fitness stand out to you?
I would say that it's the rounded, it's that you look at a person as a rounded person. You're not just looking at, okay, so here's Helena. Helena has a weight loss goal of X. Now, how do we get that? You're looking at the fact that you look at sleep, even in, in the foundation pieces of it. You look at, what's your activity level, not just in the gym, but outside of the gym as well. You're looking at nutrition. It's a very holistic view of what an individual, needs to work on for themselves. And that can probably in different layers, and you kind of move in and out of different goals that you have. But from my experience with you guys, it's very much, well, how is everything going? And that is unique from what I've seen in other areas. And that's the reason why I'm definitely staying with Doc Fitness. And, you know, when I explain it to people and said, oh, well, I'm, you know, do you know Doc Fitness? And, you know, Kilcolgan, yeah, no, I'm with the guys there, you know, and yeah, it's great, you know, and they're saying, wow, and how are you getting on? And I say, yeah, well, you know, in this X amount of weeks, I've lost this amount, you know, but it's not about the weight loss. It's actually my strength, my upper body strength. You know, I'm trying to lift this, or I feel I can do this many squats, you know, but I'm feeling really good. I've got energy. You know, you can kind of hear some people say, well, you know, that's great, but when you stop that, you know, and you stop eating like that, sure, like, you know, that it's you can't continue like that. What I would say back is that with this kind of level of support, A, why am I stopping? And B, this is the roundedness that you get. You know, when you guys, you do talk about, you know, you're on holidays, you have a bad week, something happens, life happens. It's not just stopping, you know, stopping for it, you actually continue on. And that's what's very unique, I think, about Doc Fitness. You're looking at it all. So I would be encouraging everybody to do Doc Fitness. But
Brilliant.
that would just
Brilliant. No, that's unbelievable. Like, and yeah, you really hit the nail on the head there, where it's a holistic thing at the end of the day, and it's really important that if you want to kind of really get long-term goals, then there has to be a lot more than just the cardio, losing weight. There's much more to it than that.
Yeah.
And I think since you've joined, you've really instilled really solid habits. And even during this time, I just found it so impressed. I was so impressed last week when we talked that you're still nailing every aspect of things under the circumstances, which is absolutely unbelievable. So I don't have anything else to add, Helena. That was brilliant. I mean, you're an absolute inspiration to a lot of people, and I'm sure a lot of people will be able to relate to a lot of things that you would have been saying, which is fantastic. I feel like I need to be on track with absolutely everything now, perfect, just like you are.
No, I think, you know what, in a world where, you know, there's uncertainty at the moment, this is one thing that's certain, and I can control it. So for you know, for many different reasons, it's one thing that I can actually say, yeah, I'm doing this, and this is what I'm going to follow through, because I know that for the next couple of weeks, I plan to do my workouts online. If that changes to come back to the gym, fantastic. If it doesn't, there's my consistency.
Unbelievable. Brilliant stuff. So I have nothing else to add, Helena. That was great. Thanks very much. And yeah, we'll chat to you again soon.
That's lovely. Thanks very much.
Very much. Bye-bye.